Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Greenleaf. So, this episode started out with AJ wanting to go anywhere but with his mama. And, they wanted to know what the post care options were after he was released. And the doctor told him that he can, go home with them, or he can go to this facility where he could spend 6 weeks there, and it's specially uh, formulated, as I want to say, for people who actually have HIV. So he was like, I want to go home with him. And the him he's referring to is his daddy, Noah. And Grace is looking like, what? Oh, Lord. I'm like, Lord, why he had to say that? So anyway, Bishop is at the breakfast table going off on Jacob because he just feels like he's been tried. It's like, why would you come at me sideways thinking that I killed that man? I done told y'all I don't know how many times that I ain't killed that man. So he was like, look, man, I just had to do what I had to do. Some questions keep coming up about this, and all this stuff happened with the will. I had to ask. And he was like, well, okay, so what does Aaron think about this? And y'all know Aaron is Grace's brother and all of that. And I was like, Lord, he was like, look, I don't know, but he's supposed to be coming over later to go over it and let me know what my options are and, what we need to worry about. Y'all, Lady May be going off. Lady May tired of her spirit. So despite what Bishop thinks about any of this stuff that's going on, Lady May said straight up to Jacob, I do not pat the head of the dog that eats the food off of my plate. I was like, ma'am, why? So anyway, after she dismissed Jacob, she asked him, Bishop, was he going to go to the last service at Calvary? And he looking like, I ain't planning on it. So she was like, well, we got to do something. So they actually are going to have like their own little service at the house, even if it's just the two of them. Ain't no telling what the other kid's doing. So it's just going to be what it's going to be. Y'all, the three stooges, as I like to call them, that's Judy, Charity, and Philip. They at the church and they discussing, some of the final plans as far as what they want to implement for the last service. And Charity wants to do a PowerPoint presentation of Calvary and all that other stuff as far as its history is concerned. And Judy looking like for way. And she was like, I don't understand why you want to put on display, shootings and, rapists and, the molestation and things that were going on here. I don't understand. I don't see how that was a great history. I was like, girl, you did not have to read. But she was like, that's not going to happen. So you can just hang that up. I was like, ma'am. So anyway, because she tried to go back and forth with Judy and it didn't work. And so I was like, girl. She tried to go to Phil about it, and she was like, he was like, I heard about it, and we're gonna go with Judy's idea. And I'm like, heifer, haven't you understood or realized by now that he's gonna go with whatever this heifer says because he wants to have this position? He's been waiting for this position for 20-some years. So I'm just tired of everybody. Y'all, Grace saw this whole exchange happen. And so she was like, come on, let me talk to you for a second. Pulled her to the side. And so she was like, look, I saw how you were treated over there. And, I honestly don't know why you're here. But, I think that I know of a way that we can stop all this stuff from happening before the bulldozer comes through. And so she looking like, I don't understand how that can happen. So apparently she knows information. She asked her, what do you know about Phil's mama? And so she was like, she's deceased, but okay. Y'all, his mama had her hands in too much stuff. I'm trying to understand how in the world Phil's mama had her hands in so many pots, pans, boxes, trash cans, everything else. I just don't understand. But like this heifer, her name, her signature was on too much stuff. And I'm just like, okay, for her to have so much influence, what did she know? Was she blackmailing what's his name, Bob or whatever his name, Bob Whitmore? Like, did she know something that didn't need to get out, and Phil somehow knows about these dark secrets, and you can't sit up here and have two of them in the ground, so you just gotta have another one that you could just drag around on a leash for however long, because they spent 20 years, I guess, since, and his mama been dead for like 20 some years. So I'm like, what do y'all have on this man? I'm trying to understand. But anyway, I'm sorry. But Grace is like, there's information out there, and you know, Charity's trying to understand, like, why are you rolling up on me about information about his mama? And so she was like, look, do you know about his daddy? His daddy used to be a Black Panther. His name, his government name, his birth name was Marcus DeMar. And he is done with like regular life. You ain't gonna find him like that unless you somehow just look up. He is somewhere in Louisiana. He does not go by that name anymore. He goes by Yusef Shabazz. And yeah, he ain't got time. He don't fool with nobody. He tries to stay off the grid to the best of his ability. Y'all, Lady Maid and rolled up on Carissa. She tried to read her, and she was like, I don't know why you acting like this, whatever, whatever. So Carissa is like, look, the reason why we're going through what we're going through is because your son is the one who initiated this divorce. I don't want to get a divorce. He does not want to forgive me for cheating on him. After all the times I've forgiven him, after all the times he's cheated on me, the one time that I cheat on him, this is when he wants to get a divorce. So Lady May kind of feels like, ooh, let me, step back then, because I ain't know it was all like that, because nobody knew what was going on. Nobody still knows that this heifer ended up getting a whole disease out here. I was like, girl, you did the most. That's why when they have these sex scenes on these shows, I'm like, why is everybody busting it wide open? Why is everybody busting it wide open? Ain't the first condom in sight. They get on my nerve. But anyway, y'all, I'm sorry. But yeah. So she has told her, like, the only way that I will back off is if he comes to me and apologizes to me and says, okay, I'm sorry for what I did. Let's, move forward. And so, in her mind, she looking like, okay, I think I can do that. Cool. So Aaron came and he wanted to discuss everything that's going on with that will and the house. And at this point, it's kind of looking like you're going to have to go and see that daughter that has that mission to kind of make peace. And Bishop is willing to do that because he wants to clear his name. Everybody is out here thinking that he is the reason why these folks' daddy dead and he ain't. Y'all, Grace done called Phil's daddy. Y'all, when I tell y'all this scene was so short, I died laughing. She called him and he looking like, hey, who is this? So she was like, my name is Grace Greenleaf. And he was like, okay. I used to be a pastor. He was like, okay, that's strike one. So she looking like, okay. Then she proceeded to ask about the wife, and he was like, my ex-wife, that's strike two. I was like, oh my gosh. Then proceeded to ask about Phil. He was like, nope, this is what we're not gonna do. Strike three. And hung up in her face. I was like, oh my gosh. This man went all the way off. Y'all, so anyway, May, I already told y'all about that. So Bishop ended up going to see the daughter, and they had a conversation. She seemed receptive in the moment of what was being said, because like I said, Bishop is like, I need for everybody to understand, I did not kill this man. Like, I did not. Come on now. So anyway, AJ and his daddy then came by the house because AJ is coming by to pick up his things. And Grace want to kind of come to the side, pull Noah to the side and try to discuss, other options or whatever. And so AJ looking like, see, this is why I can't stay here. This is why I can't live with you. Because I already told you that I don't want to discuss this anymore after I brought it up the last time. And he went on up the steps. I was like, Lord. Lady May came out of nowhere and asked, if he wanted to, if he had enough time for them to have tea together. And so he kindly obliged. Y'all, Bishop went and he set the record straight. He feels as though he set the record straight. And he did the most. He actually told the heifer about the will in the house. And I'm like, why? y'all. So anyway, but he was just like, look, I'm trying to let you know I didn't have nothing to do with none of this stuff. And so she's like, well, okay, if you didn't make the call and you weren't the one who killed my daddy, who did? And he was like, I'm guessing that it was Mac. I think Mac is the one who made the call, and he possibly was the one who set the fire. And you know, she is like kind of going back in her mind, recounting the moments that led up to her father's death, and like he literally had no way to escape, and it was like a hell for him to have to deal with. Like who would want to die like that? Like I was just like, oh my gosh, like it's crazy, y'all. So anyway, Judy fired Charity. Charity was like, well, you can't do that. And she was like, I don't know why you think I can't do that, because the only person who has more authority than me is my daddy, but okay. Girl, you're fine. This heifer, of course, went and marched herself into Phil's office and was like, Judy fired me. And he was like, yeah, I heard, you know, you came at her sideways. You shouldn't have said what you said. I heard what you did. And the reason why she fired her, y'all, is because I already told y'all she wanted to do this history PowerPoint presentation on Calvary. Judy said no. What Judy says goes. So for whatever reason, she thought that rolling up on Connie Sykes was gonna work. Deaconess Connie Sykes. And so she was like, yeah. She said no. He said no, and I'm saying no too. So I don't know why you thought I was gonna say anything differently, and went on by her business. So word got back to her that that's what happened, and she rolled right up on her and was like, you're fired. Oh my gosh, this heifer tried to refill and was like, she said something about you can press your face up into her small breast, her small bosom. You'll never see these again, or this, meaning her behind, because she was gonna turn and walk away. Oh my gosh, she tried to read him and was like, I wish you were the man that I thought you were. What a waste. I was like, girl, you know, somewhere sit down. So anyway, Grace went for a walk, and her daddy pulled up, and he had went, like he's in a good mood, like he's feeling really good about the talk that he had with Basie Skanks' sister and all of that. And he was like, look, I got barbecue in the car. Let me go ahead and take you back to the house. And so she was like, you know, I'll be there in a little while. And so he already knew what was wrong with her. He thought that AJ had came home to stay. And so once she actually told him what it was, he was like, look, you need to understand that anything is possible. You came home after 20 years. So he, you know, he probably will come back. He always will have a home. So you don't need to worry about that. Y'all, Jacob and Carissa talked. He came in there, he really did try his best to try to muster up the lie that would have been, I'm sorry, let's work on things, let's move forward. And Carissa even rolled up on him and was like, Jacob, all you have to say is, Carissa, I'm sorry for all the things that I've done to you. I am sorry. I know that you had this one indiscretion. I forgive you. We can move forward. Oh my gosh, he couldn't say nothing. Couldn't say nothing. And I'm like, you know what? I commend you, because you ain't gonna do nothing but be miserable. My thing is, every time I look up, Carissa is always trying to hold something over his head. Now, I ain't gonna never try to excuse the fact that he was out here cheating day in and day out. That is a fact. But at this point, you've gotten to a level of, I'm tired in my spirit. I'm tired of dealing with you. You always want to try to hold something over my head. You always want to try me when you don't get your way. So who wants to be around that? Who wants to really be with you if that's the type of person that you want to be? I know I wouldn't want to be with nobody like that, so I get it. Y'all, since everybody at the house, AJ's still at the house, he's trying to get his stuff. Zora and Sophia rolled up on AJ and was like, hey, cuz, how you doing? You ain't going nowhere. We're not letting you leave. You can't go, whatever, whatever. And so Grace comes up there and sees that they're all there. And so she was like, oh, I didn't know that this was, you know, it was a party up here or whatever, and they excused themselves. She has a one-on-one with him, and she was just like, you can always come back home. And so they had like a little moment, and he came back in the room, and he like gave her a little kiss on the head. I was like, oh, that was a little sweet, cool. Y'all, Phil and Judy at the house. And so Judy's like, it had to be done. I had to do it. And so he was like, I agree. And oh my gosh, this heifer tried to go down on him. Tell me why. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, y'all. Tell me why. This heifer tried to go down on him. And he was just like, no. So she was like, why? Why can't we do these things? This heifer got a whole husband. And I'm like, ma'am, why don't you get a divorce first? Like, I don't understand. You're trying to make it seem like you want these things with Phil, even though Phil don't want you like that. And he was only doing things with you to get close to your daddy, to get the position that he's been trying to get for 20-something years. Girl, he don't even want to have sex with you. I'm just tired. I was like, oh my gosh. She just kept telling her no, and she got mad, and like she stormed off with her glass of wine. I was like, girl, stop. Just stop it. Anyway, Lady May and Bishop are discussing how the whole debacle will end after everything is all said and done. And in Bishop's mind, he still feels as though everything is all right. Everybody is about to come down to eat, and he gets a phone call. It's a phone call from, I think her name is Tara, and she's the one who is Basie Skanks' sister, who was the man's daughter, the man who got killed. And he was like, she said she wanted to talk. She, had time to think on things and pray on things, and she wants to talk about all the stuff that we discussed, which is the will, the house, and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Y'all, Jacob came down and told his mama that he couldn't do it. And, it just is what it is. And Charity over here that came in lying to my she quit. Like, really came in trying to lie to my, I quit. I was like, oh my God. Like, she really had everybody believing she quit. I'm like, girl, the lies. Call that heifer a sour cream puff. I was like, why are they making these references? Lady May already called this heifer white asparagus the other day. I was like, why? Oh my gosh. Anyway, Carissa came down to eat. I'm sorry. As soon as I saw that heifer up here, I was like, girl, you would be eating air. You better go back up into your lair, as Lady May calls it, and eat air, because you ain't finna partake of nothing around here. You over here living high off the hog. You living high off the hog, but you want to sit up here and try to sabotage these folks. You want the house to be taken away. Jacob ain't got no job. So what money do you think you're going to get if any of this stuff actually ends up being true? Because his family, they are not obligated to give him any money. So that means you wouldn't be getting any money. So you would be getting divorced. And in all honesty, since he ain't got no job, he might actually be the one that would be getting some money. Because you the only one up in there got a job, dumb heifer. But who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I just don't understand the logic. Like, I don't understand. Y'all, anyway. But I'm sorry, I would have been like, heifer, you can go back where you came from and eat air. Y'all, anyway, the last thing that happened was the phone call, and I was just like, Lord. Anyway, we're going to see what happens. I am excited to see what's going to go down. Hopefully it's not going to go sideways, because it's going to be very interesting. Anyway, I'm done. I'm going to bed. I hope y'all have a good one, and I'll see y'all later on.